we're going to do some lazy pinup hair today. But I should also introduce myself because I'm terrible at introducing myself in any occasion that I'm in. But my name is Boom. If you're wondering why Boom, you also might be wondering why I have this. It's because of roller derby. I play roller derby, which means I hit people outside of teaching and all that fun stuff that I do. So what we're going to do today is a hairstyle that I do on a daily basis. It is what some people like to call a suicide roll. I don't like that term. We'll just call it a victim. So what we're going to do first is section off the area of which the corn roll is going to be. This is I'm just going to, oh, I can't put it in my mouth. That's weird. Okay, yeah, we can't do that. Usually I put it in my mouth, I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys, to keep it out of my way. But you know, you could of course use hair clips instead. I'm just going to have it on the side for now. And my next step is going to be to put in the ponytail. This is up to you. And where you wanna put it, you can put it high, low, medium, whatever. I usually put it real high, like I'm a cheerleader. So we're gonna do that. Because it's more fun that way, right? So when you're putting it up in a ponytail, this is gonna look like a hot mess at first, which is not what I want, because this is a really clean and sleek sort of look, or at least that's my intention. So we're gonna do our best to do that. And I do that with this comb that I've had for over 20 years. And I used to use it when I used to show horses. And my mom actually used this on my hair, and she would do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is pulling my hair back as hard as she could. So you might notice that my hair was purple. You might be wondering, why purple? Well, it's been purple for a while. And one of the reasons why it's purple is because my lovely boyfriend is a hair colorist. And he colored my hair purple to match the roller derby team that I am on, or one of the teams. So my roller derby league that I'm a part of is called Gotham Girls Roller Derby. We're based in New York. Well, specifically we practice in Brooklyn. And we're separated into 4 home teams and also 4 travel teams. And I am on 2 travel teams, one of which its color is purple. So I still have these little bumps that I'm trying to get rid of, and that's why it's kind of time consuming. Most of the time, especially with the second step that I'm gonna do, I usually don't care about this, but if I'm just doing the ponytail, I want it to be as smooth as possible. So that's why we're taking our time with this. And again, you don't want to go super hard on your head or your scalp, because that's not good. You don't want to do that. So we're going up here, and you may have noticed that I have this hair tie ready to go. I always have a hair tie on my wrist, ready for action at any point. Oh, I have armpit stains, look at those. That's disgusting, sorry. You know what's not gonna be as disgusting? This hairstyle, so bear with me. So what I'm also doing, you might have noticed, and it kind of sort of ruffles this up a little bit, but again, I don't care too much about that. But I want this to be even higher, so what I do is I pull the hair just a little bit in a couple different sections. And that is what gives it that lift that you're looking at here, that nice cheerleader lift. Okay. I am ready to cheer cheer on everyone. So next is the fun part. So here's another story. When I was in my teens, I liked a lot of, let's say, punk rock music. And so I started to paint my nails black, and I really wanted kind of out there hair. And at that time, big hair was sort of a thing, kind of like 80s hair, but you know, you did the whole swoosh in the front. We all know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna specifically say it, but anyway, it's from that I learned the appropriate technique for backcombing. In fact, so much so that my friends, when I would get ready, would call me Peacock Head. So what we're going to be doing next is making myself look momentarily like a peacock. Now this is the biggest part of doing your unicorn roll, is that you're gonna want to backcomb a lot, okay? Taking smaller sections like this, I would say, I don't know, 1/2 inch, whatever, you know, is in your favor. You don't want to do too little, but then, because then you don't have enough hair. So if you have thin hair, maybe larger sections. I have actually thin hair, but a lot of it, so I'm taking about 1/2 inch. So again, this all depends on the type of hair you have. But with this section, what I'm going to do is it's kind of a sort of circular motion when you're backcombing, so you don't want to go straight up and down, which is usually where people are unsuccessful with their backcombing. So again, it's kind of like a circular motion, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So I'm gonna push down, and I kind of go and I start at the cuticle here, and I sort of work my way up, adding more and more backcomb. And yes, it's going to be a lot of backcombing. So start at the cuticle of the hair, and you'll see that I kind of push it down too. Don't worry, it's gonna look like a literal rat's nest. That's fine. Okay, because we're gonna brush it out later on. So the more the merrier here, you guys. You wanna go, and especially if you want a giant unicorn roll, which is exactly what I'm going for right now, you want a lot, okay? And I'm going quite a bit up as well, as you're seeing. So there you go. Flip it over to the other side, and you can kind of tell the amount of unicorn rollage you'll have depending on how much this kind of stands by itself. Look at that. Ooh, that one's a good one, and that's exactly where I want it to be. Okay. What do I mean by good? Look at how tall it is, okay? We're going for peacock hair at first. You'll smooth it out later. Don't worry, you'll be fine. It's all good. It's all good. Oh. Got some weird sections here. We don't need that. So also, you'll notice that I do a whole line section, which, to be fair, I'll be honest, my unicorn roll sort of like flattens out as it goes back to the ponytail, and that's why I do long sections, but you could totally do 2 separate sections to get more volume in the back, you know, which, you know what? It's so perfectly sectioned off. I'm just gonna take advantage of the situation and do 2 sections, just so you can see how that can be done here. So I'm really hoping that there's going to be like some video compositing happening afterwards to take care of that beautiful armpit stain on my shirt that I was very surprised of. I don't know if anyone else noticed here while watching this, but I was very shocked. That's okay. I hope you guys still love me. But here we go. We have that, okay? Now, the roll is going to be going over this way, all right? So I'm ultimately backcombing the opposite way that I'm going, which again gives me more lift. I'm gonna take this entire section, flop it over to the direction that I want. You can do whatever direction that floats your boat. I'm going back to the early 90s comb to smooth out this hot mess of all this backcombing, all right? Now, this is particularly important because if you smooth it out too much, then you're gonna lose all of your volume, okay? So it's very gentle, and you gotta blend, blend, blend. Just like the mother on Edward Scissorhands, which unfortunately I don't actually know her name or who she refers to herself as. But I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. Top 5 for sure. So you'll see that I'm sort of wisping these little gross bits away. A little story about when I started doing this pinup hair, I was like, you know, the reason why I started doing pinup hair is because I wanted to look professional. So take that as you will. But I was like, oh yeah, pinup hair, we'll do that. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to start rolling together, okay? So a couple of things that you need in order to get the unicorn rollage successful is that you're going to need, I would say, between 2 to 4 bobby pins. Specifically these types of bobby pins, not, do I have any of the other crummy ones with me? No, I don't, because I never use them. But I'm not saying that they're crummy, it's just they don't work for this particular situation where it's just smooth and it doesn't have the jagged edge. The reason is because we're gonna take these 2 bobby pins and eventually, this is hard to do without having in the hair, cross paths like this, okay? So they're quite literally going to be locked into place, and that's what they're going to be doing inside the hair, okay? Very hard to get unlocked together. Also, you're gonna need some hair balm, okay? This is going to smooth out what is still sort of fuzzy. I don't know how else to describe that little fuzziness that I got going on. And also it's going to enhance the sculpting of your roll, okay? So what I'm going to do first is I'm gonna use some of this. Just about a little less than a size of a dime. Okay. Rub it in my hands, get it all good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start at my ends and just sort of work my way up. And also I'm going to, you'll notice that I pull sort of out and away from my head, not necessarily fully up because, ow, that hurts my arms. So out and away because I'm lazy. And I'm using that to just get everything to sort of stick together, okay? There we go. At this point too, sometimes I like to just kind of get these out of the way, depending on, or your little flyaways in front of your face, depending on how you're feeling. Sometimes I like to wear them down, but in this case I want them sort of back like this, so I'm gonna get them out of the way before I go in for the roll. So the roll is the hard part, where people are like, I try it and it just flops over, which, yeah, sure, okay, yeah, it's gonna flop over a lot. Just be patient with yourself. When I start, you'll see a lot of people start at different locations, but what I find best is to go about halfway down my hair, like so, and I take my 2 fingers like this, and this is going to be basically my roller. I'm gonna put my hand like this, and what I'm going to do with the second half of my hair is literally wrap it around. Now, at the end of my hair, just to hold it in place, and this is also what's, I guess the step that's often missed, is locking that end piece there so you don't lose your roll between your 2 fingers, okay? It just helps me have full control over this roll situation. Now, you'll notice that my hands kind of know exactly where to go at this point, so this is the point or the part where you're gonna have to get used to it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of flip up this little arc area, okay? And I pull that with my hand, my other hand, which is my left hand, I think. Left, yeah. Or your right, or my left. Okay, and at this point, I release that middle part, and I'm taking both of my hands, and I'm holding the roll in both of them. The reason why I want to do this is because then I can spread it out a titch, so it's not so tight. And then I roll it into its little happy place. Look at that, okay? Okay, so yet again, my mouth. Ongoing theme of the day. So now I know some habits that I need to get rid of. But anyway, what I'm going to do with this bobby pin is I'm putting both of the 2 that I intend on locking right at this sort of, at the tip of my forehead, which I'm sure there is a more technical term for this, but of course I do not know it. So I'm gonna go in and I sort of wiggle it around because I don't want to see the bobby pin as much as possible. Honestly, most of the time when I do this, I really don't care if I do or do not see it. Sometimes I get lucky and you don't see it, whatever. When you first start out, I wouldn't have that be your focus because hiding the bobby pins is sort of like, you know, the icing on top of the cake, okay? Push that all the way back, all right? You still wanna hold it because it's not completely secure yet. That's where you go in for the locked one, all right? This one, notice where I changed my hand positioning, okay? I'm going in with my left hand. So I suppose also if you want to be ambidextrous, this is probably a great hairstyle for you. Sorry, but it is one of those things where you're going to switch hands frequently. So what I'm going to do is this one, I'm going in, again, I'm visualizing inside here an X, okay? I don't exactly know where that bobby pin is, but you'll be able to feel where that bobby pin is, and then once you do, push it in there so it's locked into place. So I'm gonna go in. Oh, there it is. I felt that lock. In fact, if I move it, it moves the other one, and I'm going to push it all the way back. And it kind of looks like a hot mess right now. And again, at this point in time, it's very locked into place. Those two bobby pins is basically holding your life together. Is I kind of sort of push everything up with my left hand, okay? Sort of push everything up, and I also sort of refine the roll and let that sort of move back to where I want it to be, okay? See these? Don't worry about those yet, okay? Just focus on one task at hand, okay? And this I will now focus on a little bit. I'll spread it out, okay? I pull the roll sort of against each other, right? To smooth out the roll itself. Oh, I got lucky. You can barely see that bobby pin. This never happens. This never happens. So anyway, I'm sculpting it, and again, we can go back in with your hair balm, all right? Just a titch. A titch is smaller than a dime, in case you were wondering. All right, rub it in the palm of your hands or the fingers. So I honestly use my fingers to sculpt. And by sculpting, I mean I'm getting away, or yeah, I'm getting away with it. I'm getting away with all this hairstyle. No, I'm getting rid of these little flyaways that you're gonna see, okay? You're smoothing them out, and you just brush in the same direction with your hands with that balm. Okay. Oh, I see this. Okay, so this happens often, all right, where you'll still have some little bits of your back comb. Trick. You just, you know how like you take your clothes that you haven't folded and you put in your closet so nobody sees them? That's exactly what you're gonna do here. You're gonna take this hair, you're gonna hide it. You're gonna put it in your closet so nobody sees it. Hide it. Just roll it. Now, if this is still a problem child for you, which oftentimes what can happen is throughout the day this sort of falls loose, that's where you go in for the third or fourth bobby pin, and I can go in and secure that area, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it where I want it to be. And last but not least, go in for another one, sort of dig it in there. And extra credit if you can get it locked into place. You kind of saw how I pushed it in. Yet again, it's locking on that one that's going vertical this way. Neat, helpful. You can go anywhere. You can ride in a car with the windows down, and this sucker is not going anywhere, okay? Promise. Or promise, because it might take you a couple times to do it. Promise is not quite a promise. So maybe a couple of times, and there you have it, okay? You have your unicorn. Oh, and if I'm really nitpicky, I'd go in and flatten this out too, but we won't worry about that right now, okay? So this is stage one.